Welcome. Welcome home, Super Rock Star Seeds. Welcome home. We're going to do channeling today with Kurt Cobain. And my name is Melissa, and I will be your multi-dimensional cosmic tour guide today. We're going to go ahead and give it a start and see what comes up. So Kurt Cobain is here, and he's saying, greetings all. And he's saying, you're transitioning quite well. And he says in different levels, different layers, in different ways, each and every one of you. So remember to have compassion for all. I like that. He's saying the many bandwidth layers are aligning, and it's bringing not only heaven on earth, but it's bringing your etheric DNA, your double helix together. So it's also, in a way, your like stairway to heaven on earth, your royalty. And he's saying these bandwidth layers are being cleansed and cleared, so that's still a little bit unpleasant in some moments, but he's saying transitioning very well. So these deaths and rebirths within each one of us and each part of our systems, each layer, is quite big. Some of it's quite noticeable, some of it's not. And it's okay if you need to sit down and rest. It's okay if you change your whole direction or directive. Because that's what, part of consciousness is, he's saying, is that we are functioning from this level of consciousness, and it shifts a little bit. So our perspectives get a little bit bigger and expand and expand and expand. And he's saying, remember, every level of those elements that were fragmented and disconnected are coming in closer. So the pieces, we're going to remember that the pieces fit. So I'm hearing, I've mentioned this song in before, but I'm hearing, I know the pieces fit because I watched them fall away, which is a song from Tool called Schism. And we tried to make the pieces fit in different ways that we were used to in the past. And they would fit like this. But we're watching the pieces fit, and they're building our etheric DNA, our royalty, in many layers and many levels. And so that's deeply what's happening. Even though our eyes cannot see it all the way, we can feel it. So he's saying there's so much going on, and we're connecting with the cosmic heart. He says, think pink. Pink, like this color. Pink. As our hearts are activating, and we're all receiving lots of downloads in different ways, which will take some time to understand. And he says, some of you starseeds have come here to help not only cleanse, clear, transmute, be the divine alchemists. And most of you have been sort of undercover, or it's been part of your missions, or double missions, as I like to say. And he says to literally like strip out some of the old, so that most of the collective is either not capable or not ready or not aware of that. And that's okay. Each person is at their own pace. But there are some things being stripped out, like persecutions and judgments, because it's been a tough go of it for all of the starseeds, super rock starseeds, he's saying. And he's saying, but fear not, because no matter how long or short we have in this physical body, there's work being done to pull us back together in connection with our soul connection and our higher self. And that's happening. So I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Starseed Oracle. And he's saying, remember, there are all kinds of of different programs at all times going on in all of our consciousnesses. And depending on what we know and what we know inside, we have all been connected with attachment, shadow, pain, wounds, trauma, hurt, hate, suffering. And so there's always something that someone could point out and judge. And he says that's inappropriate. As that slows down the process, it's inappropriate to traumatize and say, you have to be like me. You have to think like me, or else we will punish you. Or he's saying, I'm seeing, he says, I'm seeing people that have many times, like, secretly been like, I really like you. And they've done horrifying things to each other. So they make movies about that. And so each one of us have been in some ways betrayed, but that's been throughout history, and that's just a repeat of the program. So anyone willing to actually betray you, or getting groups to try to harm you, or is a program running, like a computer program. And he says, so each one of those bandwidth layers, each of you hold a key, which is a certain frequency that strips out some of those pieces. And sometimes it's really hard to go through. So it's not necessarily that you have had karma, but depending on what your purposes are here and what you signed up for, and sometimes what's in your generational patterns and lines throughout time, to the beginning of time and back, we have to clear out some heavy demons, attachments, pains, histories, and bandwidth layers of consciousness that are stuck in different directions, like depending on what part of the world we're in and how we're treated, and in different ways. Like, for instance, like if you're in India, there's the caste system still. So if someone born in the lowest layer of poverty suffer, they don't have a voice really, and they don't really have much of a chance to get to the higher levels of higher up in the caste. They just don't. And depending on where you're at in, I don't know, the United States, some people are still in like used to being in narcissistic surroundings. That's normal. Abusive surroundings, and that's just kind of normal in the atmosphere. So maybe women get treated lesser, or it's just normal that almost all women have had several abusers. That's not normal. See? And so those are some easy ones to point out. Or if in our generational lines we have particular behaviors in our systems, or the ways we do things. So that means all systems around us, and in each one of us. So he says those, keep looking at the bigger picture when you go, oh yeah, and we keep expanding. That builds the double helix DNA, divine etheric DNA and connection, which is also to me like the stairway to heaven, or the ladder to heaven in our consciousness, in our just many aspects. And we're being also realigned, he says. And so he's just kind of like going along real mellow, and I'm trying to follow him, because when you're channeling, it comes in like pretty quickly. And he's saying, just remember to love one another, and that the golden rule does matter. And he says, share your information and your knowledge, even if it's not exactly right to someone else. It's not someone else's truth. It doesn't mean you have to have a separation. But some of the things are being corrected. Like if in this lifetime, especially if people were coming here to course correct things, and they did it again, they harmed you really badly, lied, cheat, steal, betrayed. It feels like those things are being done and finished in many bandwidth layers. So it's going to be lighter and lighter and lighter. So this is the age of enlightening things. And he says, so keep thinking about that north node, because there's something about pieces of your characteristics that'll be more prominent, so you can expand in different perspectives and ways. And he says, again, some of you might very well be interested in changing again. So if you're going through a lot of changes and transitions, deaths and rebirths, and it's a good thing. He's saying love the children because with these heavy energies off and on, there's so much light coming in. So it's not just about heavy things. It's not just about dark shadows. He says, but remember, each and every one of you and whoever in the whole entire earth has been born before has had Jezebel spirits, has had Levi's, has had pain, wounds, fear, sickness. And it might not all be the same experiences or circumstances, but there's been war in everyone's life. There's been hunger and loss and fear and doubt. And he says something that's been big in those dark energies or groupings of controllers or violators that are trying to run things in the world still, are trying to shame and humiliate others and just almost like shock it into you, like traumatize them. It's kind of weird because when I moved here, I had what I thought was a friend come, and he studied me and built different directions to try to pretty much humiliate me and shame me and traumatize me. And I was like, oh, that's just that program. So again, I'm not trying to whine about everything, but I was like, oh, well, I accidentally let one of those Agent Smiths in for too long, and okay. And so it was just like, oh, okay. So he, did it on purpose, and it made him feel so good. And I think he thought he was taking my abilities, my talents, my light, my essence. And so that's been traumatizing, humiliation, blame, all that kind of stuff in out of nowhere has been some of the tactics to keep you down low. And he's saying some of those are just being knocked over like bowling balls going down the lane, bowling pins. And he says every single person has shadow wounds, trauma, and if you're pointing at someone else saying you it's not that easy. It's, if they didn't ask, if it's none of your business, then I would watch out. what's really going on there, because he says the mirror effect is really interesting. And he says, so some of those things are being shut down. So affirm, envision. And he says many of you are having deep dreams, or quite a deep knowing of these soul contracts that are, he says, we're not going to call them that in the future, but this new soul contracts with the actual soul tribe that vibrate to your frequency, who will be good friends and honest and good, and just the pieces fit with these soul tribes, and you'll wake up to them more and more, and you can envision for all of you happiness and joy and healthiness and wholeness and comfort and laughter, and so that will help everything. And that's that 5D and higher, purified 5D and higher, Christed energy coming in to this physical and squishing out some of that low 4D and 3D stuff, and not forcing, but it's like bringing the pieces fit, and you're like, oh, that's not at all what I thought it would look like. And he says, some of you have been waiting for people that are interesting and intelligent for years and years and years that you can talk to and understand, and you'll find more and more. And so some of that's romantic partners, some of that's friends, and he's saying, tell them. So there's telepathy also that's going to really be extra, like your gifts, talents, and abilities spiritually, as well as everything else that you do, are going to be enhanced as you remember who you are. Recognize, and remember who others are. And our visions expand as part of the rebirth. And he says, tell them about the telepathy. So I have a friend that's in Sedona, My actual home. And she is, I mean, I think she's funny, and I'm not around her very much and don't talk to her that much, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, I must call right now. And she says, oh, I was just thinking about you. I needed to talk to you. And it's just like we click, and then sometimes we do things like, let's do a prayer together. Let's do a little cleansing prayer and light a candle together, and just say freedom and love and joy for all humanity. And then we do a little manifestation together as well. And just anytime, anywhere. And I get really strong details sometimes, like, oh my gosh, this person did this and this today. And I'll call, and she goes, oh, that just happened about 30 minutes ago. I'm like, what? So there's telepathy with the right people. And you'll kind of recognize in the right way, not the tainted, dark way, but the right way, the telepathy when it's appropriate. And of course, no healer, no spiritual person would look in to do remote viewing and look in people's lives and into their energy, get into their energy. We call that getting into people's lanes, interference, meddling. It's totally forbidden. But you can ask their energy, as a psychic medium for 1,000 lifetimes and years, right up in here. You can ask, you can look at their energy. You can read the energy in anything, anywhere. And if it's appropriate or it's time, it's okay. And otherwise, it's going to start getting tainted. And that's when the people think they're doing magic and things like that. And those things are being cleansed and cleared. So we rebirth and we can see clearly each other, but not in interfering, gross, overwhelming ways. And continue to have telepathy and almost like vision sometimes of, whoa, I remember that person from 5D and higher, in part of my visionary mystic views. And so you'll have that, I'll have that, we all will have that, because humanity, in its true meaning, is anyone with light left. And being chosen or anointed does not necessarily mean we have to be all alike, or certainly that anyone is really that much ahead or behind, or your views or words have to fit mine. Like, I have to be like yours. Because God, Source, knows us all. We are the children of God, and we are Christed, and we use different words in different ways. So we're going to start recognizing that in each other too, so things start being more harmonious in different systems, layers, archetypes, roles. We'll have a little bit more telepathy. If you need help, like some of my healing in the last months has been barbaric and rude, and I'm not thrilled about it. And but that's what we all signed up for, and especially the starseed, especially the earth angels, the empaths. The light workers, the real ones, they're going through ups and downs. Some more than others. And that is right and good. But sometimes when you've gone through the deepest trauma and your bandwidth layers hold severe stuff, sometimes it's hard. So you have different levels and layers when you work on those pieces of healing, deaths and rebirths. So it's been a little bit barbaric and yet fun at the same time, because I keep going, why did I choose this, and this? And I've been able to rest and kind of sit down a little bit more than I have in the last years. And that's pretty cool for me to learn about. And these things will happen to you as the timing is right, because we're going to be more clear, and recognize ourselves in the mirror. He's saying big picture. So I'm going to pull a couple cards, and he's saying that's what we want to say. Remember, we're just working on those healings. We're supposed to just share some things that help the collective in their own ways. Work on their own pieces, because we're all a hot mess sometimes. We all have wounds and traumas. We all have addictions of some kind, Hopefully not tough ones. So here's what we got. 3 actually fell out, but 2 really strongly. Big picture thinking. Pleiades energy. Visionary inspired ideas. So that's what he's saying. Hold those visionary inspired ideas. Big picture thinking. So I think I pulled this not too long ago. Look at that vision. Crystal clear in the water. In the heavens, look at this light city. And the terrain is in gateways and doorways, which is great for our 888. Just feels like everybody likes that strength of that landscape. Ooh, look at the pink. Look at the pink. Gotta be kidding me. As above, so below. Yes. As above, so below. Yes. And we do have a lot of celestial energy going on. There's some tumultuous stuff going on in the atmosphere with the kind of multi-dimensions, the galactic stuff, cosmic. Cosmic and galactic are different words to me. But the galactic stuff. And he says, remember to think big. I mean, like peace and harmony and love for all. Like, what if you were in the Resistance in Star Wars? You want everything to heal, for everyone to be safe, for us to be able to come home together. What if you were in Star Trek? We would come together and recognize our brothers and sisters as different as they may be, and come home in peace and harmony, and for the greater good, keep going. Okay, what's the other cards that came out? I remember. Soul plan, fated life versus destiny life. So he's saying these new soul contracts are super activated. You're going to feel that. A lot of you are going to feel it in the crown. So anything that's been covering our crown or our root chakra, and anything in between, we are going to feel that open up, and cleansing and clearing, rebirth. And you're going to, like, look at that, see yourself in the mirror, see the divinity in who you are. All of humanity that has a spark left of light. We're going to start remembering some more. And the pieces fit. I know everyone's gone through a lot of losses and pain, and that's been tough. It's been tough. And that could be an understatement. And we never know who's going to be here for a long time, who's not. And we never know what those soul contracts are as far as healing, growth. It's kind of a moot point a little bit. I'm unpopular for saying it that way, but there's not much you can learn from predator, horrific atrocity. We've already done that for tens of thousands of years, a gazillion years. And what we're doing is pulling the pieces of fragmented pieces back. And so we can build that, build our stairway to heaven and our clear, direct channel to God's source. And to continue to be our unique selves. There's a giant leaf moth and it's still climbing up my knee. It's tickling me. And then it landed on my toes. We're friends. And then that last one that came out is messenger. So many of you are feeling called to your spiritual journey, your spiritual work. Keep going. Serious energy, bringing harmony and balance. That death and rebirth energy. Not that we should expect deaths or have births, like live births of people, if it's not what we want. Some of it's new ideas and some of it's change and growth in different ways. But that serious energy is kind of serious. It's kind of a badass grouping there. Bringing, it's almost like the Justice card. So balance. And we got these clouds that are angel wings, and there's this deep innate knowing. And no one's trying to be better than the other. No one's trying to be louder. No one's in competition. And we're going to see the real light warriors. Fat, thin, tall, short, rich, poor is what he's saying. I'm talking about Kurt Cobain. So bringing some of this connection. So we are getting great messages. And he's saying, I'm just a messenger, man. I was just a messenger to just accidentally be famous and write some of those groundbreaking, thought-provoking songs and live a thought-provoking, groundbreaking life. And he says, freedom, and listen in your heart, think really big, dream really big, and keep affirming. It will help you get through. And those stairway cases to heaven are helping, and they're coming together, and the pieces fit because they're supposed to. And new soul contracts are being activated every which direction. And it could be about another connection with another person or friends, family, loved ones, but it could be about something about your purpose and your mission. So just keep going, and you'll know what you want to do. It's okay. If someone's mad at you, arguing that you need to... The control board is freaking out. Like it's catching on fire. And so the pieces, each one of you in your own way, coming into alignment as you are meant to be. It could be bouncy. It could be very smooth. Take a rest if you need to, and dream big, and hold those beautiful, highest good visions for yourself, and know that your others, your teams, your tribe, your soulmates, your divine counterparts can feel it. And just keep sending love, and know that it makes a big difference. And think pink energy. All right. I'm down with that. And tones, frequencies, he's got you. And he's like, I just wanted to come say that we're going cosmic, we're connected. And I know I say the same thing sometimes, but each time it's a little bit of a different angle. And he says, I just want you to know I'm happy to bring messages. And some of you, we can ask about his life when he was here. We can ask about a song when he's here. And he's like, don't make me say it. And I'm like, what? And he's saying, what else could I say? Everyone is gay. Because that was the line in one of the songs. I'm like, yeah, I know. We're finding that out, aren't we? And he's saying, divine masculine and feminine and everyone. But he's that's to laugh with. But he's saying, because not all of us are gay, because I'm not. But he's saying that's inside of you, an expansion. It's not right or wrong, left or right, up or down. It's so. And he's saying it's expanded, Christed view. And you'll recognize yourself and remember who you are more and more. And don't listen to anybody, because they can, like anybody that's rude or mean or trying to hurt you or anything like that, because no. And they probably do recognize who you are. And they just are a little jealous. And he's saying, think big. And he's saying, love one another. And just imagine your hearts being free and your dreams being fulfilled. And he's like, write a song. Super rock star seeds. And he's saying, at your service. All right. I think that's it. Everything's going to be all right, he says. So I'm saying thank you to that energy, that bandwidth energy that Kurt Cobain resides in. And he says, I have serious energy in me too. And remember, some of the best thinkers that you thought were stupid are going to be in their North Node. And it'll be refreshing. This is going to be fun in these next years to listen to some of the advanced thinkers that we thought were not really worth much. And he's saying, the meek are inheriting the earth. He makes me want to smoke cigarettes. He says, yeah, and that's all. So he's saying, at your service anytime. I thank you all as well as we thank Kurt Cobain, the energy of Kurt Cobain. And thank you for the likes and the comments and stuff. Thank you so much. I am truly appreciative. I will see you later.